So the show opens up. Samoa Joe's in the ring for Bruce Pritchard's favorite thing, a contract signing for Seth versus Dominik. And they note that there are two...
Joe saved this segment because, number one, these segments are so overdone, and number two, Dominik is very limited in what he's going to be able to do on the mic at the stage. And this gimmick of Seth ran its course a long time ago, if it ever even had a course to run. The problem is like when the thing was over, all you wanted was Samoa Joe against Seth Rollins. But they killed poor Dominik.
Well, what happened was they have a contract signing, and the story is that Dominik has to sign two contracts, one for the match on Sunday, and one is just his WWE contract. So he's now a WWE wrestler. So Samoa Joe is there.
Too?
And Joe basically cuts a promo for Dominik. And he cuts his promo on Seth, how sad this is. He basically flat out says, like, used to be awesome, now you have a shitty gimmick. And talks about how they took out Ray's eye and Alistair's eye. They would have taken out his eye, but Dominik ran in. Seth goes off about how I gave this kid a choice multiple times. He didn't want to do it. I had to turn into this character because these fans crapped all over me. I'm like, dude, it's not my fault you're doing this stupid gimmick, or anyone else's.
Man, blame the frickin' booker that had you in that program with Bray Wyatt that frickin' killed your career as a babyface.
So finally, Dominik ends up signing both contracts, and Seth congratulates him, tells him to get the hell out of the ring because he's got a match with Humberto Carrillo. So they do a match. It's quick, like 90 seconds if you take out the commercial break. And, of course, Dominik ends up whacking Murphy with the stick when he tries to interfere. Carrillo is distracted, and Seth hits the curb stomp for the pin. So afterwards...
Actually, it's 3 minutes.
Is that counting the commercial?
Carrillo's very much a complete job guy now.
Yes.
Did you know on Main Event, Riddick Moss beat Mustafa Ali?
Wow.
That's how Mustafa Ali, talk about falling off the face of the earth. After we give him 3 weeks, and he was already dead in 2.
Yeah, he lasted 1 week.
Yeah.
So the heels double-team Dominik.
He's so good, too. He can talk. He can work. He's great on the internet. It's like, why would you not push a guy like that?
So the heels kill Dominik, and they grab these kendo sticks, and they beat the ever-loving shit out of this guy. They caned him in the front. They caned him in the back. They caned him all over the place. He's got welts all over his body. They took his shirt off. It looks like he's I don't know. I don't even know what I would say. A zebra? It's brutal.
He looked like he got finished with that frickin' skateboard from Darby Allin with the thumbtacks.
This was, the thumbtacks were worse because they actually cut the skin and the guy was bleeding all over, but this guy had 4 times the amount of lines across his body as...
Who's going to be hurting worse as far as Ricky Starks? Because Ricky Starks, you got to take a shower in that. That's, like, bad. But then this guy, those bruises, that thing's just got to kill you for a couple
Dude,
days,
I would
right?
much rather take the kendo stick shots than that skateboard tearing my flesh off my back. That was brutal.
Oh, man, either one. This looked so brutal. It got to the point thinking, like, if it wasn't for this bad gimmick, and if it wasn't for the fact that it's Dominik doing the match and not Ray, I would say watching this and then have Ray against Seth after this angle, I would go, this is really, like, great. Like, not even good, but great. But it went on for so long with nobody saving him. And was
Where the fuck was Samoa Joe?
He was sitting there. He's not allowed to do anything or else he loses his job. They made that clear. So we can't blame him. But where's Humberto Carrillo and Kevin Owens and all these other guys? He's just taken this beating, and it just got to the point of, I'm supposed to sit here. You know, it was like that deal on Friday night with Retribution, and they're like cutting up the ring and beating people up. And it's like, number one, there's a whole dressing room full of wrestlers and no one's coming out. But you know what makes it worse? There's a frickin' audience full of wrestlers. And they're just standing there, and it's just like,
Dave,
this is against, there's 40 of them, and there's 4 small guys and 1 woman. And some of those dudes in the audience, those NXT dudes, are giant dudes, bodybuilder muscle heads, and they're just standing there. And then here, it's like we got a whole dressing room full of guys, and poor Dominik is getting just destroyed. And for a while, it was like, this is really cool, but then they just kept doing it, and it's like, oh, man.
Okay, Dave, like, hold on a second. Hold on.
Now it's like lost it to me.
Okay, you're killing me here. Listen. What do you mean Joe can't touch anywhere he gets fired? That's the stupidest storyline I've ever heard.
That's what they said. They made that very clear.
I know they made it clear, Dave. I don't care if they made it clear. It's stupid. Joe was attacked by wrestlers last week. The wrestlers attacked Samoa Joe. And so now Samoa Joe is told you can't touch anybody or you're getting fired? That is a shitty crutch and bad storytelling.
Okay, I am not defending the logic because there is no logic here whatsoever. I'm just saying that they did try to cover it in storyline. They did say, that they did cover that. You can't do this or else you would get fired. So that's the reason for Joe. But that's not the reason for everybody else on the card. You could say Street Profits have their own angle or whatever, well, at least Angelo. I mean, Ford's doing the injury angle right now, or the food poisoning angle. But Kevin Owens was there. He was supposed to be in a program with Seth until they just dropped it when Ray, agreed to stay. I'm sorry I said the word midgets.